It's time for the 32081 Scoreboard Show. Let's recap the latest weekly scores and highlights from around the county.
Hello and welcome to the 32081 Scoreboard Show. I'm Todd. I'm flying solo, but I couldn't wait to bring you the scores from the high school football games around the area this past weekend. So let's go ahead and start off with Nease. They were taking on Andrew Jackson over at the Den for their home opener, and it was a huge crowd. And I got to tell you, it was an electric night. The student section was phenomenal. So let's go and head over to Nease, and we'll check in with Coach P and see how the Panthers fared.
Representing the Nease Panthers football team, this is Coach Pekakanis. The Panthers met the Andrew Jackson Tigers in their home opener tonight. The Panthers were unable to overcome the size of the Tigers and lost 30-10, despite a rushing touchdown by D1 Florida commit Marcus Stokes and an interception by junior Cannon McClafferty. 32081 Scoreboard Show. This is Coach Pekakanis from Nease High School in Ponte, Vedra.
So Nease travels over to Creekside this week to take on the Knights. And we have a new sideline reporter we'd like to introduce right here. Drew Dub Williams is going to give the update from Creekside where they took on Vedra.
Hello, this is Drew with Creekside's game recap versus Vedra High. Start off the game, junior Nikki Williams gets it going with a 72-yard run short of the end zone. Later in the first quarter, senior quarterback Wilson Edwards connects with senior receiver Brendan McMillian for the 17-yard touchdown. The Knights keep their defense strong this year with a fumble recovery by senior Ashton Anderson, go up then 21-0. Later in the first, sophomore Tyler Jenkins gets a pick six to let Creekside go up 35-0 in just the first quarter. The run game is very strong again for Creekside, with sophomore running back Daniel Affobato with 2 touchdowns and over 120 yards on the ground. Final score of this high explosive Creekside offense, 49-0.
Thank you, Dub. And just to say it again, the Panthers are going to be traveling across US 1 to Creekside this Friday night for a 7 p.m. kickoff. You got to be out there because I'm sure it's going to be packed and it's going to be a heck of a football game. Ponte Vedra High School is at home, and they welcome the Bartram Trail Bears, actually crossing US 1 the other way. And let's go out to Brady Okla and get an update on that game from this past Friday.
This is Brady Okla reporting from the Shark Tank. The Ponte Vedra Sharks were narrowly defeated by a powerful Bartram Bears team with a score of 13-7. Despite the rainy weather, the Sharks were able to hold the Bears to a scoreless second half. Sharks' only touchdown was made by a late strike in the fourth quarter from quarterback Nathan Bunkowski to senior receiver Alex Cotto. They look to rebound next week in a big division game. Thank you.
Thank you, Brady. We appreciate that update from the tank. The Bartram Trail Bears will travel to Daytona to take on Seabreeze, and they lost their home opener to Spruce Creek 21-14. The Sharks are going to stay right here at home and welcome the Florida State University High School Seminoles to the tank. The Seminoles won their home opener in a close contest with Trinity Catholic, 22-19. Other scores from around the area, Menendez won their home opener against Ridgeview, 43-0. Next up for the Falcons, they will travel to take on the Inglewood Rams for a 6:30 kickoff this Friday. The Tocoi Toros won their home opener when they welcomed the new kids on the block, the Beachside Barracudas. Your final score there was 36-19. Next up, the Toros travel to Palm Coast to take on Matanzas, and the Barracudas will take on the Pirates of Fernandina Beach. Middle school football kicks off this week, and we are excited to include them in our Scoreboard show next week. The St. John's Middle School Athletic Association program also welcomes a new football team to the mix, the Pine Island Dolphins, and we welcome their head coach, Isaac Byers, to the show. Thanks for joining us, Coach.
Hey, no problem. It's a pleasure to be on.
Coach, let me ask you this. You're starting a brand new team straight from scratch. I think you have, two players that came over because they had to play at PVA last year. Is that right? I think you had Ark.
Yes.
How's it been for you? I mean, can you walk us through some of the challenges, but also some of the highlights of starting a program from scratch?
Starting with the challenges, I think our first basic challenge was just convincing the kids at the school itself, the parents, that we were actually going to have a team. There was a lot of rumors and otherwise floating around before we even got started saying, hey, they're just going to combine with PVA again. There's no need to start another football team, and we just don't have the players to play. It was challenging from that standpoint that we had to kind of fight the public opinion of there's not going to be a program. So we had to really get out and let the community know, let the school know that, yes, there would be a program. It was going to move forward. So that was kind of our first big challenge in my mind. And then the second just comes from the pool of players that we have. So being that the school didn't have an 8th grade last year, didn't have a team last year, our talent pool is limited. And then add on top everything from the rumors of not having it, other sports conflicting, like finding players was very challenging. I mean, if you look at our roster, I think we have only 6 8th graders total. I mean, there's some teams that had almost as many 8th graders try out for their team as we have total players.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's you get that challenge where we're very diverse. So our team is very heavy 7th graders and 6th graders, with very few 8th graders. And then on top of that, I would say there's only probably 6 or 7 of the kids on the team that have ever even played tackle football in full pads. So here you have the challenges from that side where you have no existing program, no pool to pull from, and then lack of age players as well in size, as well as just a experience altogether. It creates a challenge from that aspect. And then the other part is from just the coordinating a team, building up
right
communications, programming, practice locations, time, schedules, all of that kind of becomes a huge challenge because you're creating new. You're seeing what works for your team, where other teams have the advantage of they've already have a program in place. They know exactly how they're going to run their first week of practice. They know exactly where it's going to be, how long it's going to be, what works best for the kids in that program, down to the offenses and defenses they run. I came from a long coaching history, but the group I coached in Texas has a lot different dynamics than the group we're coaching here. So we don't know what works best here. We're trying out different things. We're looking at the players as we get them and finding ways to use the talent we have and do that. So we're coming up with completely different offensive schemes and things where more established programs have a program that they're building kids into year after year. They're bringing it in and they're refining it. And so we're really in the experimentation phase where other programs are in that refining stage of their program.
So let's talk about that for a second, about the support real quick, because you go into the Jamboree and you're right, the inexperience, you can kind of see it. You got kids that haven't played, but you go out there and I remember watching this game and seeing the first half. And you could tell the kids were a little nervous, a little tight. It was their first game out there. And then all of a sudden, the second half in POA, your defense steps it up and really stops a heavy run game. And I remember, the one thing I remember from that game was afterwards, the players seemed upbeat. But most importantly, it seems like your parents, you got a great set of parents that are backing this team and they're enthusiastic. How big of an advantage is that for you as a first-year coach, having the group of parents you have behind you that are supporting you and the kids?
It's huge. I mean, that's the one thing that no coach wants to deal with. But on top of all the other challenges of a new program, having parents that aren't supportive, that can't understand the building aspect of a program, that can't see the good that happens in a game, even when you walk away from a scoreboard that says 32-0, and can't see what happened and see that magic. That's a challenge if you have parents in a support group that doesn't see that. But we absolutely had that. And so when we were able to sit there and we were able to feed on the good and see the change, just the play-to-play, half-to-half change, and everybody fed on it and walked away with a very positive, I'm glad my child's a part of this program, we're happy, and that's what we need. We need that support. We might not be a team that can make it all the way through the playoffs. We have a lot of talent, and we get this gelling, we could go all the way through the playoffs. That's a very big possibility. There's a lot of talent on our team. But seeing that we're building something, and each little thing that we do is a win, and having parents that support that is the one thing that really makes it work as a team, as a new team. It's what's going to build a real program.
So let's build on that a little bit. Let's step back to last year. You were an assistant coach with Tony Hodge over at PVA. Your son and my son played together, and now they play at Nease. And as you know, at PVA last year, I don't think we'd say we had the season we expected. We had a lot of stuff come up that we had to deal with throughout the season. So you look at that, and then how does it make you feel as a coach? Because I think this is something some people might not realize. You're trying to build and get kids enthusiastic about playing football later on. So now you leave PVA, and not the season we were hoping for. Still had a great time, but to you, like you said, the excitement and the parents backing the kids were there. And now you look at Nease and you look at the 9th grade freshman team, and you see the number of kids that have moved on, even from what some might say was an unsuccessful season, still excited to play and go out and compete at the high school level. Is that really what this is all about? Because it seems like it to me. If you can do that as a coach like you and Tony Hodge did and have the kids excited, that's a win. That's what you want, and it must make you feel proud to see these kids continue on and competing the way they are at the next level.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's what it absolutely is about. I mean, there's no accolades in middle school football. You know, our names aren't going to go down in the annuals of records saying, hey, this was the best middle school coach ever to coach football. That's not what we're out there for. We're not going to see that. I love football. I have a passion for football. I have a passion to teach the game and watch that go, but it's all about these players going to the highest level they can in this sport. And so seeing these kids move on to freshman football, seeing them move on up into varsity football, seeing kids go into college is what really gives the coaches like Tony, myself, Shannon, all the other coaches that are out there in this league. That's what we're here for. We're here to build these kids up, give them the foundation to make a career, whether that's a high school career or beyond of football. And that's really what it is. So when you come back to what we're building a foundation. So in a program, we're literally building a foundation. We have a very raw group, but we have a lot of passion and excitement. So the one thing we want to do is just build on that so that they want to continue and bring those efforts. So when you talk about successes like that, we had one of our players who had tried tackle football before in the state where he was at. And he didn't have coaches that were focused on improving him as a player, giving him an experience that would get him excited about it, get him to the point where he wanted to develop his skills and his talents. He was just thrown in there because of his size and pushed and almost was against football, almost hated football. Because of the school, the new team, friends that he decided to join the school. And his dad has told me several times after the spring game, after that, like, thank you so much what you guys are doing as coaches. He loves what he's doing out there. And that's what's a success to me, to have these kids that are excited about it, that are finding that love and passion. Even maybe they're not the starters, maybe they're not even second string, but they're finding a love and a passion for the game of football and a desire to better themselves and get their skills better. They have a lot of learning to do. They have a lot of growing to do. They're young. They're going to grow and things will change for them, but just that passion and that excitement, that's what we can instill in them.
So last question I have for you is, you're going to kick off the season next Wednesday, or this coming Wednesday, I should say, against Mill Creek Mustangs at Plantation at 5:00. A lot of people say that the SJMSAA is separate from the school. It's, quote, not a school sport. And I think you would agree that you're very lucky and blessed that you've got a principal like Amanda Riedel, because she views this as her team. Doesn't matter if it's SJMSAA. They're Dolphins. It's her team. How important is it, with the backing of the school administration and the school community, how important is it going to be for these kids to come out their first game at Plantation Park and see that place just filled to the brim with people supporting them, cheering them on, and, just the experience for them to say, hey, the community, the school, everybody's behind me, and that house is packed for us?
It's everything. I mean, if you listen to how we break down every huddle, we break it down as we are, and then loudly Pine Island. I mean, these kids are proud to be from Pine Island. We're new school. Nobody knows who we are. No one knows there's a sport here where they've been young. Their sports last year were young. We want to come out. We want everybody to know that. So having that support, seeing the stands, that's what these kids want. They want people to hear them and see them and feel that they're part of this, that they are Pine Island too. And that's what we're after this year, is we're building something that everybody can see as theirs, as something they can find that pride in. You look at the other programs that are established and you find people that are proud to be those programs. Well, we're certainly very proud to be Pine Island Dolphins, and we want everybody that feels that same pride for their school, the excellent academics and everything that's going on at the school, the programs there that are helping our kids succeed academically. We just want this to be another extension. We want that to be something that the school's proud of, that the parents and the community that are all part of the Pine Island Dolphin family are proud of.
Well, Coach, I want to say thank you for all you do, and especially you and your coaching staff, because like some people might not know, you guys are strictly volunteers. So we appreciate everything you do for the student athletes and what you do for our community. And then also, hey, thanks for joining us today on the show. We hope you enjoyed being on. You'll be back with us. And all the best as you guys kick off this foundation for Pine Island football. And we wish you the best of luck against Mill Creek.
No, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Todd.
We look forward to including the middle school scores next week. Until then, thanks to all of our sideline reporters, Coach P from Nease, Drew Dub Williams from Creekside, and Brady Okla from Ponte Beach High School. And thank you to all of you for listening to the 32081 Scoreboard Show.
Thank you for listening to the 32081. We hope you enjoyed today's episode.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Please don't forget to subscribe to the show so you can join us for the next episode.
I never miss an episode. It's the best.
Until next time, take care.